Many of us living in large cities like Toronto often take our food options and prices for granted, while people living in remote Indigenous communities do not have this privilege due to high costs of hunting or delivery costs that raise prices. Have you really looked at the quality of foods at the grocery store recently? Do you tend to see quote unquote ugly produce put on display? Have you ever thought, like, what happens to produce that doesn't make it to the shelves? What do grocery stores do with the surplus foods that aren't being sold? Now imagine paying $10 for a can of tuna if you were living in Northern Ontario, but only paying about $2 for it at your local grocery store in Toronto, Ontario. Many of us living in large cities like Toronto often take our food options and prices for granted, while people living in remote Indigenous communities do not have this privilege due to high costs of hunting or delivery costs that raise prices. Diverting edible produce with cosmetic imperfections can help combat food waste and the climate crisis, and also address the food insecurity that exists in Indigenous communities in Northern Ontario, such as Moosonee and Moose Factory. Sing Redirection, a social innovation effort that can create more opportunities for people in Indigenous communities to access healthier food options within existing grocery stores at affordable prices, as well as provide free food boxes through mobile units to those living in remote areas. Redirection will be largely operated by volunteers to help redirect produce. It will rely on partnership efforts and expertise from many key players. Cultural competency will be sought out from Indigenous people, such as elders and community leaders, and to also consult about what would be most beneficial and helpful. We would work with grocery retailers to arrange for ugly and surplus produce to be transported, which would save them time and money in food waste removal costs. Redirection would be repurposing and redirecting perfectly edible food that would otherwise end up going to waste. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada support innovation and can help fund this idea. Private investors can also support costs for transportation through methods such as charter planes and mobile units through social impact bonds. The Indigenous Primary Healthcare Council focuses on improving Indigenous healthcare service throughout Ontario and can provide education to volunteers by delivering cultural safety workshops. Ontario Health can support redirection by working with local community and healthcare partners to incorporate evidence-based standards and population health outcomes. Formulating partnerships with organizations related to the food sector can be beneficial. Second Harvest, for example, can provide leadership and partnership since they care about food insecurity and food waste. Through these collaborative efforts, redirection will begin as a pilot project and be assessed for sustainability after 1 year. Redirection hopes to improve the overall health and well-being of Indigenous people in Moosonee and Moose Factory by addressing and reducing food insecurity. It will disrupt the food supply chain and reduce the environmental impact of food waste. These outcomes can be assessed in various ways. Examples include experts in waste management evaluating how much food waste is prevented, looking at the value in food that is redirected, exploring how much greenhouse gases are averted, and looking at the social determinants of health for Indigenous people, since food security is associated with suicide rates, education rates, and mental and physical health.
Created using Powtoon.